What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports show. I'm back home, Papa Dude. You're back home. And boy, this is nice. This is nice to have a little home-based show today, isn't it?
It's nice to not have to worry about the internet, right?
Yes, absolutely. You were at a hotel, obviously, and internet is always sketchy there. And yeah, I was at the in-laws, and that was sketchy as well at times. But yeah, it's nice to be back. I'm not at a Starbucks parking lot. You're not in a hotel, so it's good.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm glad to get home. I know you were gone longer than I was, but I'll be ready to go again, though, in about a week.
Yeah, well, thankfully I will be too, because I will be going in a week to the Travers. Of course, cannot miss the Travers when the Iowa bred 8 Life Grand is going to run in that race. So, can't miss that. What do you think about that? He's had to work now over the track. It looked good. He's getting Tyler Gaffalione to ride. I mean, what's happening?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Had lunch with our good friend Todd Bazor a while ago, and we were talking. Todd did not know that the horse had gone up there. He really likes Kelly. He's talked to Kelly a lot up at Prairie Meadows. Kelly Von Hemmel, the trainer. And I was going to ask you, what rider did he get for the horse? Mm-hmm. So that's good. And I just, from looks, you've seen the horse in person. Golly, what an impressive looking animal that horse is. And man, it would be cool if he could run well. I don't know whether he can win it, but it'd be cool if he could run well.
Yeah, he's in the Dale Romans barn right now. That's where they've got him kind of housed. And Rich Strike is right next to him, which is really kind of funny.
Yeah.
And Dale Romans, oddly enough, trained the sire of each of those horses. So trained Not This Time, which is the sire of 8 Life Grand, and he trained Keen Ice, the sire of Rich Strike. So it's just awfully weird. He did say that 8 Life Grand looked a lot like his sire. Not This Time, and he said Rich Strike looked nothing like him. So, so that was interesting. But it'll be a ton of fun. Speaking of Saratoga, we did have the Chad Brown incident. If you watch the Dudes Who Bet Daily show, by the way, Mexican Wonder Boy wins at 5-2, so that got us off to a good start. Samich's horse was third, and we are keeping an eye on your over 8 for the Athletics Rangers games. It's 4-2 in the 5th, but we addressed Chad Brown. We don't have any further news. After thinking about it, you got anything more kind of to say? Or
I'm wondering. I kind of was thinking about this. I read a little something a while ago that the female had a key to his house. Is that true? I mean, I read it because I'm thinking, how did she get into the house? Is it trespassing? And did she get arrested too? I'm wondering about that.
It's always good in these situations. I feel like we're in a society now where we're the first to tweet, we want to be the first to do everything. Find the facts out, and I don't know the facts, and nothing has really been said past what we already know. I don't think she got arrested, no, but other than that, we don't really know. And
I guess my question would be, if she broke into his house, which I guess she didn't, or she would have been arrested for trespassing, wouldn't she? I mean, you can't just go into somebody's house, can you?
I think,
yeah. So again, we don't know enough. We do know it's kind of a bad look for Chad Brown in any way you put it. It's just a bad look. It is. So I don't know that anything's good is going to come out of this for him. Yeah, but we don't know the facts. So.
No, and they will come out, I'm sure, in the coming days, and we'll see what happens on that one way or the other. Still no news, though, as far as is he going to be suspended, this, that, whatever. I did research, and they suspended Bob Baffert at NYRA for a conduct detrimental to the game. I don't know how you would classify that for what Chad Brown did. It seems like it even though it's very different, that would be detrimental to horse racing that this happened, right? So that's going to be interesting to see what kind of actions they take on that.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment to horse racing for sure. Didn't have anything to do with the horses. It's a tricky situation. He's a superstar on that circuit, of course, and I don't know what kind of difference that makes. When you're talking about image of a sport, which is what you're really dealing with here, is the image this projects. And of course, this is an issue that, there's just no defense for him unless she had a gun, then I think there is a defense. I really believe that too. If a person has a weapon against you,
right,
you don't have one, I think you have a right to defend yourself. So, but from all indications, she didn't have a gun. So
I would believe that would have came out, and maybe it wouldn't have even went this far. So I don't
think he would have been cuffed and arrested.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. So we'll see though. We'll see what comes out of this and see what happens. By the way, we don't have to follow your game any longer. It's over. 7-2, a 3-run home run for the Rangers, and the Rangers athletics game is over. So Dudes Who Bet Daily goes 2-1 for the second straight day. So we're now 4-2 on the week.
Good.
We're up. Let's see. That would have been we're up 3.5 units, and we're up about 4.5 units after 2 days. So that's good. Very, very good. Good.
I will get hold of my grandson and make another pick tomorrow. He's the one that helped me with that. This kid, he is a baseball guy, and he was telling me, and he nailed it. He goes, "Hey, those teams can score, and those pitchers aren't any good. This is our best bet." And when we were looking at it last night, it was 8.5, and then I saw it came down to 8 this morning, and we jumped all over it. So I don't have to sweat it either. Me and you got him in, so that's good.
Yeah, and like I said, it's 2:40 here Central Time, and we're 2-1, and all the bets are in, and we can relax tonight. So that's
unlike last night.
Unlike last night where you went to bed thinking you had lost. Yes.
Well, I was sick. I was sick to my stomach last night because I didn't bet the one I should have bet, and it came in, and then the Yankees looked like they had blown it, and I was so mad, but never because they walked. I don't know if you were following it at all, but in the 10th inning, they walked 2 batters. The Yankees did to load the bases, and then he got a guy. It was the bases loaded and 1 out. Got the next guy out, and I thought they're going to get out of it, and then the hitter doubled off the wall or whatever and drove in all 3 runs. And I said, "That's it. I'm done." I woke up this morning and somebody for the Yankees had hit the grand slam. And you know what? That's what gambling is. Sometimes you get that, and sometimes you're on the other end of it. How would you have liked to have had Tampa Bay picked?
Yeah.
Because they were the underdog. You'd have made a lot of money on that game.
Yep.
So it works both ways, and that's sometimes you hit them. But I felt like I got a freebie yesterday for sure.
There's no doubt. Yeah, and it does work both ways. I've lost games with the 2 or 3 times on blown saves, and it does. What goes around comes around. That's the terms. All right, let's get to what we're doing today. NFL over-unders. We're going to do them all, but we're going to have to do them pretty fast because there's a ton of teams. And if you watch our college ones, it takes a while. So we're going to kind of rapid fire through these. We're not going to go completely in depth. I'll go ahead and put the graphic up on the screen now. There it is, the over-unders. I'll go down the list as we go through them. And we'll see what happens and see if we can get these right. We did very well on these last year. This was one of our first podcasts last year. And we both had winning records at the end of the season. So we'll see if we can do that again. All right, Papa Dude. Like I said, we're going to start. We're going to go through them all today because we can't do it next week because we have games next week. College football returns next week. So we got to get the NFL preview done today. Let's start kicking off. Arizona Cardinals. I like this graphic because it gives you the over-under total, which is 8.5. It also shows you what they did last season. And that's kind of cool and kind of a refresher. To remember what these teams did. So the Cardinals are 11. Cardinals are, I already screwed it up. The Cardinals are 8.5 this year. Last season, they won 11. What do you think about Arizona and this 8.5 number?
Well, this is a great one to start off with because that's about right where I'm at with them. And I don't know about you, but I just have some issues with the Cardinals. I always do. I think they have an image problem. Is this Kyler Murray thing settled? I don't know. I mean, is he happy they acquired Marquise Brown, which is his buddy, and that helped him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's good. They've got weapons on offense. And if they can protect him and keep him from getting hurt, offensively, they're okay. I don't trust the coaching. Their defense is questionable. Tough division. Man, that division is tough. When you look at the games, there's just so many. Like they've got the Chiefs at home. Can they beat them? I don't know. Home and home with the Rams, home and home with the 49ers. That's going to determine their season, I think, how they do. 8.5. I'm going to go ahead and go over and go with, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I got them at 9. So I'm going to go over.
I am going to go under, and I'm a Cardinals fan. I think they're going to implode. If you watched them last year, they were one of the worst teams in the league the last 4 or 5 games. Playoffs was terrible. Listen, Kyler Murray starts off great, and he's always no good. Once we get to like game 8 or 9, he gets injured, things like that. I'm going under. I don't have a lot of confidence in him this season. I don't think how they're going to be. Maybe they do get to 9 and you catch it. I don't think they're ever going to be any better than about that 9 and 8. Mark and Jason says he does not trust Kyler staying healthy in a 17-game season, and why would you? He hasn't yet, right?
He hasn't yet. I think the addition of Marquise Brown is going to help. The critical games are, can they win those? I've got them. I got 5 games for sure that they can win. That's not very many.
No.
That leaves a bunch of toss-up games, and they're going to have to make plays to win those games. Their schedule's pretty tough. It's not going to be easy. So I had them 9-8 going either way. You took the under, I went the over. So we're right together on that, really. I think we're thinking about the same.
Right. I want to quickly, I didn't see Jason's comment. I want to quickly, he said, weird thing happened. This guy showed up in Saratoga court, and I swear he looked like Chad Brown. So I watched a video of him walking out of the courthouse, and I'm like, that looks like downtown. So I looked it up, and yeah, the courthouse is downtown, like on the main street where the shops are and everything. And I got to thinking, how odd would it be if I'm there and I'm going to go to Uncommon Grounds and get a coffee and before the meet, maybe, or before the races start, maybe do some work or something. And I walk out and Chad Brown is coming out of the courthouse and there's cameras in his face. It's just like, God, that had to be strange. Anyway, that made me think of that, Jason. All right, let's go to the Atlanta Falcons next. Last season, they won 4 games. This year, their over-under is 4.5. This is obviously not a team that's going to be very good this year, according to Minnie. What do you think of the Falcons?
Yeah, I think it's complete rebuild for them. The quarterback situation's a mess. I only see one game that I think they've got on their schedule that they can win for sure. I'm going under. I can't see them winning more than 4.
I'm going under too. I don't think they can be very good at all. And Jason says 0-17. So I'm with you. I think the Falcons, it's a total rebuilding year, and I don't think they made any bones about it when Matt Ryan was dealt. So I think that the Falcons go under that 4.5 as well. All right, we talked. Go ahead.
He's also got along with the Bears. And Jason, that's the one game I think they can win. They've got to go in Atlanta, so I think they can win that. So they're not both going to go 0-17 unless they tie in that game.
It's impossible. Well, they still can't go 0-17 if they tie because they'll be 0-16 and 1.
Right. So there you go.
All right, let's move on. Baltimore Ravens. We've talked about them a lot on our Dudes Who Bet Daily show, and the Ravens last season disappointing. They won only 8 games. They had some weird games. They won some games they probably shouldn't. They lost a lot of games they shouldn't. 9.5 this year, so everybody's projecting them to be a little bit better. Baltimore Ravens 9.5. What do you think of that one?
Well, I think they got a little bit of a break with the schedule. They play the NFC, all the teams from the NFC South, which is not a real strong division. You've got Tampa in there, and New Orleans is always tough, but the other two they should beat. And they got the AFC East, which they can break even in that one too. So they didn't get the toughest of the conferences or divisions. It's Lamar Jackson, don't you think? Sink or swim with him. If he has a good season and he can stay healthy, they've got weapons. Their running game is very, very good because he's a huge part of their running game. Mark Andrews is the best tight end probably in football, or he's arguably is. A little bit shaky at receiver since they lost Marquise Brown, who I think is better than a lot of people give him credit for. Defensively, they were racked with injuries last year, just killed on the defensive side of it. Hopefully they can stay healthy. Ricky's here, of course, and this is his team. 9.5. I got him at 10, so I'm going over.
I went over on them as well. I agree. A lot of it's going to come down to what Lamar does, and I think Ricky makes a good point. It is a contract year for Lamar, so that does make a difference for sure. And he's right. The injuries really stacked up. We say, boy, this was a disappointing season for the Ravens, but my God, they had injuries all year. I think what happened was, to start the year, they were kind of overcoming them, but I think it finally took its toll. I'm with you. I think Baltimore goes over 9.5. I think they're going to win that division. So
I also think, Aaron, that Baltimore is kind of the kings of that division. I don't think they fear anybody in their division.
Yeah.
I know Cincinnati had a great season, but I think Baltimore's one of those teams that those other teams in that division are going to struggle with Pittsburgh being down for sure. So I think they're going to do fine in the division also.
Yeah, and Jason comes in and says he thinks they're going to win the division as well. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think Baltimore is kind of especially with the Steelers totally looking terrible. I think Baltimore is kind of the boss of the division going into the season. And that maybe some Cincinnati fans are like, what are you talking about? Well, I still think chips are down. I think Baltimore is going to be a little bit better team this year. So, all right, let's move on. Buffalo, last season they won 11. This year it's 11.5. I mean, to me, in my opinion, they're the favorites to win this thing. What do you think of the Buffalo Bills? I'm going to go over that 11.5 number. What do you think?
Well, first of all, they are the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. You can get them at 6-1. So they are the favorites. They've got their schedule is really tough. So it scares me a little bit. They got to go to LA. I think they open the season in Los Angeles. Okay, that's tough. They got to go to Kansas City. They've got Tennessee. That's a home game. Miami's going to be pretty good in their division. They got to go to Baltimore. They got Green Bay. They got to go to New Orleans. That's always tough. And then, of course, they get the Bengals. So the schedule, or they are at Cincinnati. So their schedule is really tough. So when you look at that, they're going to have to be really good to win 12. And I think they are. I think they've got it all. And if they can somehow beat the Chiefs, that's been their bugaboo the last 2 years. I love their quarterback. I think he's one of the best. I've got him at 12 also, or I've got him at 12. So I'm going to go with the over on that too.
Yeah, I think they're just going to be awfully tough. And I think they're on a mission this year. They got a taste of it. Well, I say should have. They easily could have been to the Super Bowl. So I think they're going to bounce out of that season, have a really good one, and really be tough to beat this year. So I like the Bills a lot. Like I said, they have a lot of tough games, some of them on the road, but a good team is able to navigate and win through that. And I think that's what the Bills can do. All right, let's move on. Carolina Panthers are next. Last season, 5 wins. They actually, if people may not remember, they started the season pretty well when I think it was 3 in a row and then fell apart. Here we go, Papa Dude. You got Baker Mayfield. Now the total is 6.5. 6-11 would not be a great season. Can they get over that 6.5 mark, though?
Well, that's the big key. I think I saw on Twitter a while ago, if you can believe it, that he has been named the starting quarterback, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's official now. The key to them is McCaffrey. Can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
He's not been able to play the last couple of years or finish the season. This guy's a superstar. He can do so many things. He makes your offense so much better if he's healthy. So he will make a huge difference. Their problem is not defense. It's offense. Defensively, they're fine, but they can't score. So he's the key. They have to play the NFC West. That's one of their crossover divisions that they have to play. The other one is the AFC North. I'm going to go over with them. I think they're close to being decent, Their division's not just horribly tough. I'm going to go over. I don't know if they can get to 9, but I think they can win 7 or 8.
I think they can too. I'm going over as well. I think they're going to be better than that 6.5 number. I don't have any grand plans for them. Jason says he's their they are his dark horse team to win the South. And so that's, the South is there. I don't want to say for the taking because that's not the right word, but it's there for an upset, right? And we'll kind of go through a couple of the other teams in the South coming up, but it's there for them. I think Carolina can get over that 6.5. I'm just not sure they can jump up and get past it, or and get past that into the playoffs, something like that. I'm thinking, like you said, 7 and 10, 8 and 9, something like that. But I do think they get over that number. Okay,
so many toss-up games in there,
Yeah, no, for sure. And then JL says, I don't know how you ever expect him to get anywhere close to Tampa. It's a situation, JL, where the Tom Brady bubble at some point is going to burst. This guy is defying all logic. And if it does, all of a sudden Tampa's very average. And then all those teams, I won't say all, I don't like Atlanta, but Carolina, Tampa, New Orleans, they're all kind of the same, right? The really only difference maker to me is Brady in Tampa Bay. He's just he's a lot better quarterback than anybody else in the division. So he could get injured. Maybe he starts to decline a little bit. It certainly didn't look like it last year. He looked great. So yeah, Brady plays great again. Nobody's going to beat Tampa.
No.
So nobody's saying that, but eventually he can't keep doing it. He just can't. So who knows, but maybe it won't be this season for sure. All right, let's move on to the Chicago Bears next. Last season, they won 6. This year, 6.5. What do you think of the Bears?
Not much. They're in a weak division. If they'd improve a little bit, they could finish second in that division. But they're going to have to improve. Justin Fields, we don't know yet how good he is. They can't protect him. Offensively, they're not very good. Never have been, really. 6.5. I'm going under. I got them at 6.
I hate to say it. I think they might go over. I think they're a little bit closer to being decent than they are to being absolutely horrible. I think Fields will make a little bit of a difference. I think they can get to 7. That's where I've got him. So I'm going to go over on the Bears here. Not excited. The Bears aren't one I would bet either way. I think that line is just right there. So I'll go over on the Bears, even though Jason thinks they're going 0-17. So, all right, let's move on. Cincinnati Bengals are next. Of course, they went to the Super Bowl last season and were defeated, but were competitive against the Rams. A kind of a storybook run there in the playoffs, winning some games they probably shouldn't have. They got 10 wins in the regular season last year. The over-under set at 9.5. So are you buying that the Bengals have they arrived? They're going to be good year after year, or was that kind of a fluke last season?
Well, I think I'm a little higher on them than most people because they got the best quarterback in the league. And I'm talking about in the division. So when you got the best quarterback in the division by far, I don't think it's even close. I mean, he's better than Lamar Jackson. I think Joe Burrow's as good as anybody. And with the offensive line he worked with last year, they were god awful. They've improved the offensive line. They went out and improved to give him a little bit more time. Their receivers are good. I think they're pretty darn solid. They do have a tougher schedule this year because they get the first place schedule. Look at this. Here's the problem. Listen to this. These are 7 games I've got rated as toss-ups. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, at New Orleans, at Tennessee, Kansas City, in Cincinnati. They got to go New England. They play Buffalo. Those are tough, and you're going to have to be pretty good to win those games. So I think that's where this 9.5 is coming in. They got a target on their back now. They're not going to slip up on anybody because they played in the Super Bowl last year. So that's the pressure. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go 10. I do think they challenge. It's going to be between them and Baltimore on who beats who. to win the division. So I'm going to go 10 and go over.
I think the key for the Bengals as far as getting over this is the division isn't great. And if they can get 4 wins, meaning 2 against Pittsburgh and 2 against the Browns, and then say they split against Baltimore, there's 5 right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the key to them getting over. I think they can do it. At worst, I think they're 4-2 in the division. So I'm going to go over, but not by much. I think it's 9 or 10 wins. I think they're one way or the other. In that
you go 5 right there. Okay. Well, they're at the Jets.
Yeah.
Win that. That's 6. They've got Atlanta at home. That's 7. They should beat Carolina at home.
Yep.
That's 8. And then you got Miami at home. You know, they should win that game. Mm-hmm. So there you go, right there. There's your 9, and then they got to get another one. And you're right; it comes down to the Baltimore games.
Yep.
And so.
JL disagrees with Jason. He says he does not see a hangover. The O-line, like you said, going to be improved, and Burrow is that guy, and that's kind of what you said too. Yeah. And again, he kind of echoed everything we said. Pittsburgh definitely looks like a dumpster fire for now, and the game versus the Browns without Watson helps. And even if they had Watson, I think Cincinnati's a little better. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be great, like elite 12, 13 wins, but I do think they're going to get over this 9.5. And I think it's going to be between them and Baltimore for that division championship. All right. Speaking of Cleveland, this number was probably going to go down. This was before the news today. Cleveland Browns season total is at 8.5. This has to go down though, right?
I think so. If you better get this now and go under.
If you've got them under 8.5, I've seen them at 9. That's definitely the case. I'll just set it at 6.5. I'll just throw out a number. Do you think the Browns, without Watson, we now know is out 11 games? What do you think about the Browns, over 6.5 or under 6.5?
Well, I mean, they do have talent. You know, they're not destitute with talent.
No.
I mean, they have players. If they can get any kind of play at all out of the quarterback, which is debatable. You know, their defense at times is good. Myles Garrett's as good as anybody. Chubb is a tremendous running back. It's just an unstable organization. And how much is this going to affect their psyche? You know, I have a hard time believing that all the players bought into this Watson thing anyway. I think that's going to be hanging over their head. Can they win more than 6.5? They have the talent to do it. I don't know if they can. But I definitely am going under 8.5, and I might have gone under 8.5 with Watson, to be honest.
Yeah, I would go under what's listed here. And like I said, because I think they're going to be about a 6-7 win team. So whatever you want to do with that, you can do. But I definitely think under the 8.5 for sure. But you're right; they do have good players, and if they can get quarterback play where the ball isn't turned over, they can win. The year Mayfield had such a good year, and the Browns had a good year, he didn't turn it over, and they won. And so that was the big difference last year. You can talk about a lot of different things, but he turned the ball over too much. You know, they're a ball control team. Run the ball with Chubb. I don't know what Kareem Hunt's deal is. He requested a trade, so I don't know what his story is and how he's going to play. But anyway, they've got the personnel. Kind of control the clock, but they can't turn it over this year.
And they need him. They need Hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, he got hurt last year too.
I think their best bet is to put Hunt at quarterback and run the option. All right, let's move on. The Dallas Cowboys last season won 12 before getting beat in the playoffs to the 49ers. This year, the over-under is at 10.5 for the Cowboys. 10.5. I think that's a high number. What about you?
Well, it's a tough schedule, too. They get the first place schedule. They're just in a weak division. Okay, and let's say you go ahead and you get them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to win 6 games in the division. I don't think that's a stretch to think that with the Giants, the Commanders, or whatever they are, and the Eagles. It's not a stretch to think they can run the table on that, is there? Is it?
No.
Okay, so when you get 6 like that, you only got to get 4 more. So you got to start looking here. Who can they beat? All right, they got Detroit in Dallas. Well, you think they're going to win that. They got the Bears in Dallas. So let's say that's 8. They got Houston. That's 9. They're at Jacksonville. That's 10 right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, then they get iffy. Indianapolis. That's at Dallas. That'll be tough. They got to go to L.A. They got to go to Green Bay. They got to go to Tennessee. They got Tampa Bay at home. They got the Bengals at home. They go to Minnesota. All right, so they got to win one of those to get to 11. I think they do it. I'm going to go 11 for them, and I'm going over.
I'm going to go under. I think they'll lose a game you're not thinking. Maybe in New York, maybe I don't think they're going to lose the Commanders, but maybe to the Eagles. So I'm going to go under. I think they'll have a 10-win season. I think that's what
you think they win the division.
Yeah. I think it's tough because I just don't think the teams in their division are just quite good enough, and I think they shouldn't struggle to win it, but I think they will. And so I definitely think they're gonna regress, but not enough to lose the division. So I'm gonna go under that 10.5 number. So all right, let's move on. Denver next. Russell Wilson's there. They've been needing a quarterback for 100 years now. They've got one. Last season they were able to win 7 despite having nothing back there. It's all the way up to 10.5. I think that's a lot to ask for the Broncos. What are your thoughts on the Broncos getting to 10.5?
Okay, we can argue they play in the best division in the league, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders, the Chiefs, the Chargers. That's 6 games right there. And guess who they drew as another division they have to play? The second best division in the league, the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 games against the Rams, the 49ers, the Cardinals, and Seattle. Okay, that's 10 of the 17 games that are damn tough.
Yep.
Is Russell Wilson that good? Has he got enough left to turn that team from 7 to 11 wins with that schedule? I say no. I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm going to go under. I think they're going to be better, but I think, you're talking about this team could go 10-7 and you don't cash this bet. Well, 10-7 would be a good season for the Broncos. So
Yeah, right.
I just can't do it. That's very, very tough. It's kind of what I'm saying, JL. 10.5, very brutal for the division. They could only win 10 and still have a legitimate shot, right? So
I think they can make the playoffs. It's going to be between them and San Diego or the Chargers, probably.
yeah,
I think they're better than the Raiders.
you got the Raiders mixed in there too, and I think the Chiefs are going to regress. So I think all 4 of those teams look a lot alike.
Yep.
So that's going to be a very fascinating division. And Jason said it's another quarterback he doesn't trust to stay healthy, and that's more than fair as well. So
Yeah.
All right, let's go on. The Fighting Magics, the Fighting Curtis Awards, the Detroit Lions. Last season they won 3, so naturally their over/under is 6.5. Believe it or not, the Lions are getting some hype. I don't know from who, but they are. I have the Lions under 6.5. I didn't think about it much. What about you?
I'm kind of going along there with you. They won 3 games. And all of a sudden, that was a fantastic season. I mean, do you know how bad you have to be to win 3 games?
Bad.
Yeah. They weren't very good. Yeah, they kind of were competitive. Okay, let me back up. They were better than they have been, and they showed signs of life. They had a good draft. I love their draft. I love the kid they got from Michigan as a pass rusher. I think his motor never stops, and his ceiling's pretty high, and he's going to help them. They got the wide receiver from Alabama that's going to help them. Quarterback's sketchy. How much can they improve? They are in the NFC. What are they? North, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Bears. You got Minnesota. That's potential. They can win. They're not going to beat Green Bay. They're definitely improved. They drew the AFC East. So they got Buffalo, Miami, New England, and the Jets. And then they have Jacksonville, at Carolina, Seattle. Those are games they can win. I'm like you. I got them at 6. And I think they'll be pushing to win that.
I'm with you. I'm with Jason. It's just like they're not gonna be any good. Come on. I mean, give me a break. You think that team's going 7-10? No way. I'll be happy for Magic if it's different. But
I do think they're getting better. And I think they're a draft away from maybe taking a jump to 8, maybe.
yeah.
I think they will address the quarterback situation at the end of this year, because is Bryce Young coming out? Is he eligible to come out?
He can't yet, but he will. He's next year.
That's what
Yeah.
okay. And what's the other one? The kid at Ohio State.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So there's some quarterbacks out there. This year was not a good quarterback draft, but there are going to be some ones coming up, and next year, the next 3 years, they've got some good ones.
Yeah.
But with Goff, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
No, but they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, no doubt. I do think they're getting better, but come on.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Green Bay Packers, they lose their star receiver. That's the bad news. The good news is they won 13 last year, and they've been a very good regular season team here in the last 2 or 3 years. 10.5, so it's not a overly high number for a team that won 13 a year ago. But how much is that going to affect them losing their superstar? And who does Aaron Rodgers have to throw against?
Well,
or throw to, I should say.
I hate this team, and I've always think but look at their schedule. Okay, they drew the NFC East. So they got Dallas, they got Giants, they got Washington, they got Philadelphia. And they got Dallas at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the AFC East. Yeah, Buffalo's in there. Well, okay, they may lose that game. And they got Miami. Let's see, the Miami game it's at Miami. And then they got New England at home. And then they got the Jets. So they got an easier type schedule. Yes, they got to play Tampa. What are they at? 10.5? I'm going over. I don't think they're that good, but I don't see any way they don't win 11.
Yeah, I was looking through the schedule a little bit while you're talking as well, and I've got them projected at 11. So I've got them going over that. As long as Aaron Rodgers is there, they're still going to be tough. They'll figure it out. That's the thing. They never really start the season great, but they figure it out, and I think they'll do the same.
They're very well coached.
Yep, they are, and I think they'll be decent. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, though, still, but I think in that division, they're still the ones clearly to beat. So,
no doubt.
All right, let's go on to one of the more boring teams in the NFL, the Houston Texans. I don't know. They won 4 last year. It's 4.5 this year. I don't see them being that much better than they were last season. What are your thoughts on the Texans?
Okay, we'll make this real quick. Total rebuilding. Why do you hire Lovie Smith as your? I mean, Lovie Smith's a great guy, but God, talk about a retread. So to me, that's just a sign they're rebuilding. Let's put a guy in there to kind of take the heat for a couple of years. We'll get rid of it when we get better. Poor Lovie. I'm going under.
I'm with you. I'm going to go under the 4.5 for Houston. I just don't see how they're going to be any different from last year, and they were not good at all last season. So, all right, let's go on to the Indianapolis Colts. They won 9 a year ago. They totally blew the playoffs. They should have made it. They lost to Jacksonville in a game where if they win, they're in the playoffs. So unbelievable that happened. Now they've got Matt Ryan, so a big upgrade. At least I think it's going to be a big upgrade at quarterback. A lot of people comparing Matt Ryan to Indianapolis to what Stafford did for the Rams last year. I don't think it's quite like that, but it's similar. 9.5 is the number this year. Are you buying the Colts?
I like them a lot. I do like Matt Ryan. The major difference is he is older than Stafford was, and not a whole lot, but he is older. This is going to be a rebirth for him. And if he's got anything left in the tank, and I think he does, don't you think this is going to give him a big jump? Because he was in a situation in Atlanta where he didn't really have a chance.
Yep.
Now he's got players around him. Jonathan Taylor's as good as he gets. He might be the best player in the NFL.
Yep.
Great running back. The only detriment I see is they got to play the AFC West, so there's some tough games outside their division. A lot of people are not sold on Tennessee. I am until somebody beats them. I still like them a lot. Yeah, I'm going to go over though. I think they can get to 10.
I think they're going to be a really good team. I'm going over. I thought they were a real good team last year. They just blew that, and that's just one of those things that happens in the NFL. I think they're over. I'm going to go over that 9.5. I like Indianapolis this season. I think they're having a good year. All right, let's go to Jacksonville. New coach again in Jacksonville. That happens every couple of years. We'll see if they can finally turn this thing around. Last season, it was a mess. Urban Meyer, the whole thing there, only 3 wins. 6.5. So there's optimism for some reason in Jacksonville. What do you think of the Jaguars here, year two with Trevor Lawrence?
Well, I think everybody's blaming Urban Meyer on the disastrous season, which he deserves some of that, I guess. They're not any good. I mean, you can expect the quarterback to improve. I don't have any doubt that guy's got talent. I mean, he was a superstar in college. He's got everything. So a new regime will help. Doug Peterson is a proven NFL coach, so they did really well there. Still don't see a lot of wins. I don't think they can win 7, so I'm going under.
I'm the same. I definitely think that they're going to be better. I think they could get to 6 maybe and improve. And 6 wins would double their win total from last season, by the way. I don't think they get all the way up over that 6.5. I'm with you. Jacksonville, I'm going to go under the 6.5. All right, Kansas City Chiefs are next. Last season, they were a disappointment. I know they won 12 games, but that's the level of expectation now in Kansas City has definitely changed. To lose in the playoffs, that looked like they had started to finally turn their season around and look like the old Chiefs, and then they blow that game. They're down to 10.5. Tyreek Hill not there any longer. What do you think of the Chiefs here, this 10.5 number?
Well, I love Jason's comment here. Put on your hip boots. It's about to get deep in here. Does Jason think we're Chiefs fans?
I don't know. I think maybe. Jared is such a homer that everybody thinks I'm a Chiefs fan. Okay. And I always tell I'm not. I hate them. I root against them every week.
Well, there's several things here. Don't you think the pressure's off of them a little bit? They're not projected Super Bowl winners.
Right, yeah.
I think that will help. They've still got Mahomes. And in a down year last year, he was still better than 95% of the quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right, yeah.
As long as you have him, you cannot count them out. I don't care how bad he's playing. You just can't. The guy is a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
Yeah.
Even when he's playing bad. They still have Kelsey. The key is, we all know this around here, how much of an influence was Tyreek Hill? How much did he mean to that offense? And most of us that watch them every week, because we're forced to, because that's who we get. And how many times did he make plays? He is a once-in-a-lifetime player also. I've never seen a guy faster than him. Have you? With the explosion.
Yep.
If he catches the ball and he has any space, forget it. He is gone. It's like he's shot out of a cannon. I don't think you can replace that. Now, you got to ask yourself, what were the Chiefs thinking? Is he trouble? Maybe he's a bit of a loose cannon. And they just decided, you know what? We didn't win. We won it once without him. We didn't win it again. He won a bunch of big money. Who knows? I don't know what they were thinking. I do like Andy Reid. I like the way the Chiefs organization thinks. I think they're solid. Their defense has got to improve in the secondary. They were weak, and their pass rush was terrible. So that's something they've got to address. Very difficult division. They also drew the NFC West. Mm-hmm. Their schedule is brutal. If you look at their schedule, at Tampa, at San Francisco, at Arizona, at Indianapolis, at the Chargers, at Cincinnati, at Denver, at Vegas, they got Buffalo at home. That's tough. Now, how good are they? That's the question, right? 10.5, I think they can win 11. So I'm going to go over.
I'm going under. I don't think they're going to be near as good. And I've seen them play without Tyreek Hill. It made a world of difference.
You may be right.
I'm going under. I think they have serious challengers for the first time in their division. They had challengers last year in that division. Everybody in the division is better, and they are worse. I'll go under the 10.5. I am not a fan of the Chiefs this year at all as far as their chances. I think they're a wild card team at best. I really do.
I'll tell you something. If they're like you think they might be, there's going to be some changes in Kansas City, and there's going to be some mumbling because you got arguably the best quarterback in the game. He's at least top 3. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Yeah.
And you have a season where you only win 9 games. There's some issues that are going to have to be addressed. So,
yeah, Jason, would it be crazy for them to finish behind the Chargers and Raiders and miss the playoffs? I mean, I think the Chargers are a better team than Kansas City. Okay. I don't think the Raiders are. And I think the situation in Denver is at least interesting enough. I would still take Kansas City over Denver. But I think it's a situation now where those are not automatic wins.
Oh, absolutely not.
And I think the Chiefs are the second best team in that division, but I think it's tough. And I think 10-7 is a realistic expectation for them this year. And so I think it'll be interesting to see.
We got the Chargers next, so let's go ahead.
Yep.
Because it all comes down to the head-to-head between Kansas City and the Chargers. It sounds to me like where you're going with this.
If the Chargers and the Chiefs traded coaching staffs, I would have no doubt that the Chargers were going to go over this 10.5 number.
Me too.
They have everything you would want to make a run.
They do.
Their coach is an absolute idiot. He's a dick.
Yeah.
So that makes this interesting. The Chargers, they should have swept the Chiefs last year. Stupidity cost them one of the games. They have the talent to go over this 10.5. I'm going to go over. I am worried to death about that. I would not bet it one way or the other.
Yeah, you can't because the Chargers are one of those teams that lose games they shouldn't, just like you said. And there's no doubt, I said at the end of the year last year, that is the most talented team I've ever seen to not make the playoffs.
Yep.
It was an absolute crime. I would have fired the entire coaching staff if I would have
too.
There is no excuse for that team not winning.
And, we talked about the Chargers a ton last year on our shows. And every week it was the same shit with them. It's like, what? It's like they would play great and win, and then the next week they would be awful or he would do something dumb. And we're just like, what is going on?
Well, I'll just go back to this. And this is okay, they're playing the Chiefs second time.
Yep.
They beat the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Yep.
And so they come out there, and remember they ran the kickoff back to about the 10-yard line or 12, the opening kickoff. Well, the Chiefs they bowled up and they stopped them. And they're on like the 7-yard line. It's 4th and goal on the 7. The game just freaking started.
Yep.
I would take 3 points right off the bat.
Yep.
He goes for it and didn't kick the field goal, and it came back to bite him down the stretch.
He did that like 3 times in that game. It wasn't just that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
some of the stuff he does, like going for it on 4th down, I kind of like that sometimes in certain parts of the field. He'll do that, and I think that's kind of cool. 4th and inches, if I was in a pro team and I was up around my 40 or something, I'd go for it every freaking time.
Right.
Good in college too. If you can't make a few inches, you don't deserve to win the damn game.
Yeah.
And I tell you, you're seeing colleges go for it a lot on 4th down now, and it's hard to keep stopping a team. So some of the stuff he does I like, but that's not kicking field goals is ridiculous. I'm with you. I like them a lot. I love the quarterback. They've got all the skill people they need. Their defense is good. They just got to win, and that's the key. Can they do it? So I got them over also.
I'm here to tell you, this Justin Herbert, the way he's played, Mahomes is not alone. Like, this guy can play. I'm not saying he's as good as Mahomes, but he is up there now, and this team should be great. I just really worry about the coaching staff, but their talent is immense. That offense is really good. So they're an interesting team. I hope they live up to the hype. I like to watch them. They are fun to watch, but also will make you want to pull your hair out with some of the decisions. So we'll see. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Los Angeles Rams are next, Super Bowl champions, obviously 12 wins last season. For an encore here, 10.5. I thought that number was fairly, takeable if you like the Rams again this year. What do you think? Do they come back strong for another season here?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a little low. Now their schedule's very tough because they get a first place schedule. They have to play tough first place teams from other divisions. So that really makes things interesting. You got to think Stafford's got another year in him. Cooper Kupp may have had the greatest year in the history of receivers. Never seen stats like he had last year. What a player this guy is. Just a superstar. Aaron Donald decided to come back. That's huge. They acquired Bobby Wagner, which is going to improve their defense. They got him from Seattle. Cam Akers will be back healthy at running back. The schedule's tough. I like them. I'm going over.
I went over as well. I think they are going to have another good season. I don't see why the Rams would slip a whole lot. I mean, injuries could happen, but that could happen with anybody. They're still a really good team. So I'll go over. Defense is still good. So Rams over that 10.5 for me as well. This is an interesting one. The Las Vegas Raiders made the playoffs last season, got to 10 wins. This year, 8.5 for the Raiders. What do you think about their chances to get over that 8.5 number?
Well, here we are in this division again. Somebody's going to have to lose some games in this division. Which team are we going to pick that's going to, they can't all be 10-7, 9-8. It just doesn't happen. And so somebody's got to lose. So you got to look at somebody. Is it them or is it Denver? Because I think Kansas City and the Chargers are notch better than both of them. Did the Raiders overachieve last year? A lot of people think they might have. Man, what a trade. They got Devontae Adams from the Packers. And that's a big weapon for Derek Carr. They're in a tough division. I've got them right at this line because I'm not sold on them. I don't know why. They could really make me look stupid. But if I'm going to go Denver winning 9 or 10, then I've got to go the Raiders winning 8. So I'm going to go under.
I'm going over the 8.5 because I think all 4 of these teams in the division are going to be right around that 9 to 11 win mark.
Well, they're going to be like the Central last year.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
That could happen. It could happen.
Yep. I totally think that's how it's going to go. I think they're too good not to win more than 8.5. So I have to go over.
They are good.
I went under on the Chiefs. I went under on the Broncos. So I'll go over on the Chargers and the Raiders.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Miami Dolphins. We talked about Tyreek a little bit earlier in the show, leaving Kansas City. Well, he ended up in Miami. Last year, Miami won 9. This year, it's 8.5. Come on. Listen, I went over Miami last year, and somehow it hit because they started off horrible, and then somehow they came back and did it and got to that over. They won a ton of games late. I'm going over 8.5 for sure. I think they're going to be a lot better than they were last season. What say you, Papa Dude, on the Dolphins?
I'm with you. It's all about Tua, isn't it? Is he good enough?
Yeah. He's
got the weapons now. Tyreek Hill's going to make a difference. Unless he's a troublemaker. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think they fired their coach, which they shouldn't have. In my opinion, he did a tremendous job because they started out, 1-7?
Yep.
They got to 9-8.
Yep.
Come on, that's a hell of a coaching job. I don't care who you play.
Yep.
And of course, it came out they were telling him to tank it, and he didn't do it, and that's kind of been proven. So I think they hired a decent coach. It's all about Tua. Is he good enough? Can they take the next step? The schedule's doable. I'm over.
Yeah, I think they go over for sure. Let's move on. Minnesota Vikings, 9.5. Last time I checked, Kirk Cousins still is the quarterback in Minnesota. So I think 9.5 is going to be tough. They won 8 last season. What do you think of the Vikings?
Don't you always hate trying to rate them?
Yes, they're the worst.
They're always 7, 8, 9, 10.
They're like Boston College and
they are. They're the same every year.
Yeah.
They get a break or two. They win a game they shouldn't. They're just so tough to gauge. I think a coaching change may be good for them. I think Mike Zimmer, who I liked a lot, might have been there a little bit too long. What is it? 9.5. I got to go under. I won't be surprised if they win more, but I'm going to go at 9. I got them at 9.
I went under as well. I don't think they're going to get to 9.5 or get to, I guess, 10 essentially is what they need. I don't think that's going to happen at all. Here's one. I liked the Patriots last year. You liked them even more than I did. They got to 10 wins. They made the playoffs. They kind of stumbled late. The problem is it feels like Miami got so much better in this division. I don't know about the Patriots, but boy,
Right.
8.5 is, you would think maybe they could have a winning season. I didn't know what to do with the New England this year. What are your thoughts on New England?
Oh, they faded so bad last year.
Yes.
They weren't even in the game against Buffalo the last 2 times they played them. They just got stomped, had no answer. It's still in my mind, and I don't care how great a coach Belichick is, and I think he's really good. Their schedule, man, it's tough. Lots of tough games. Can they win those? I think Miami's going to take New England's place, and I think the Patriots are going to fall a little bit. I've got them 9-8 or 8-9. I'm more leaning towards 8 than I am 9, and I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm going to go under.
I went under with them as well. I don't feel great about it, but it's just like, I just don't know how they're going to be. There's just not a lot of logic, in my opinion, that makes me think that they're going to be able to get over this 8.5. And if they do, it's going to be 9-8. They were horrible to end the season. So, yeah, I hate that. And they'll probably prove us both wrong, but I'm going to go under as well on them.
I'm better going under than I do going over.
I agree. All right, let's go to the New Orleans Saints. Last season, they got 9 wins. This year, again, it's 8.5. So can they repeat and get up to that 9-win mark? They look about the same to me on paper. What about you?
Here's another one. I hate to rate them. I do every year, same thing.
If you remember, we never could get them right last
I
year.
missed them almost every week.
Yeah.
They were better than I thought they'd be. Is Jameis Winston okay after knee surgery? Big question. They did get some new weapons in the offseason. Their running game's okay, although Kamara, I haven't heard anything whether he got suspended or not. He had an offseason incident, and I don't know whether I haven't heard that he got suspended. They play the NFC West schedule. They're right where I always have them. I don't know. If I rank them under, they're going to go over. So they lost the coach. I think Sean Payton's a great coach. I'm going under.
I went under as well, and I thought that was the big final factor for me. It's like, he would have found a way to get 9. I don't know if they'll find a way to get 9 now. So I went under that 8.5 as well. I don't think the Saints will be that good. The New York Giants, we'll go to both the New York teams. Samich loves the Giants this year.
Yeah.
He thinks they're going to be pretty good. They got 4 wins last year. Last time I checked, Daniel Jones is still the quarterback. That's the bad news. Good news is they do have an improving roster. 7.5, though. I'm not sure. What do you think about the Giants?
I do think they're going. You know what? When we were doing this, me and Mike were on the show together one day. It was 6.5 at that time.
Yep.
Now it's up to 7.5.
Yep.
That's a pretty big difference. It really is when you're dealing with a team like this. I think the organization's got a plan and they're going with it. They've decided that the offensive line was pathetic, and they made some steps to try to adjust to that and improve it to help Daniel Jones out. Big key. Can Barkley stay healthy? That's a big key. He's a great talent, but he's been hurt. Is he ever going to recover? They play in the NFC East, which is good. Are they better in Washington? Are they better in Philadelphia? That's the key. If they are, and they can beat them, that's 4 wins.
Yeah.
But I can't go 7.5, so I'm going under.
I went under as well. I don't buy him as much as Samich. I do think they're getting better, but it's still like you get in there and you look at the roster and it's like, all right, I think they're gonna be better. But then you watch Daniel Jones, it's like, oh shit, they're not gonna be any better. Like they can't win with this guy. So I can't do it. The New York Jets, 5.5. for them. Last season, they won 4. I thought they were significantly better, even though it was still only a 4-win year for the Jets. Now it's like I said, it's up to 5.5. What do you think of the Jets?
I think they're improving. Isn't their quarterback hurt? I believe he's.
Yeah, he's questionable for the first week.
Oh, just the first week. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now it's questionable for the first week. Could be worse. They're not quite sure. I think he's going to be able to play, though.
Okay. Tough schedule. Where the win is going to come from? I mean, are they better than Buffalo? No. Are they better than Miami? No. Are they better than New England? No. I can see 6 losses right there.
Yeah.
Within the division. They're right on the line, 5.5. I think winning 6 would be really a pretty good accomplishment for them. You look at their games. Okay. They go to Cleveland. That's a game they need to win. They go to Pittsburgh. They need to win that. Can they? Yes. But will they? Would you bet your life on that? I wouldn't.
No.
Minnesota. Can they go to Minnesota and win? I don't think so.
Maybe.
It would be nice if those games were at home.
Mm-hmm.
But they're on the road. You got games you can win that are on the road. And so that makes it really tough. And I can't see them. I'm going under. They could win 6, but I don't think so. I got them at 5.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've got them at 5. I think they could get over, though. I really do. They've got a shot at this. They're getting a little bit better. The roster's a little better. So I'm going to go under, but I would not be surprised if they go over. I think they're kind of right on that line. And the quarterback's going to be the big key. He didn't have a lot of help last year. I don't see a ton of help this year, but maybe they give him a little bit of help. So, all right, let's go to the Eagles next. 9.5. Last year they got to 9 somehow. Now they're at 9.5 this year. I think people are high on the Eagles. I don't think we're 1 or 2 of them. What do you think of Philadelphia?
Well, they took advantage, and you got to give them credit. They took advantage of a very weak schedule.
Yeah.
Went 6-2 down the stretch, and they were able to beat the teams in their division, which is the key to the Giants, the Eagles, and almost said the Redskins, the Commanders.
Yeah.
Because if they can do all right amongst those 3, and sweep each other, which they're not going to do, only one team's going to do it, that's the key. Are they the second best team in the division? They might be. But that doesn't say anything because the other teams aren't any good. So,
right.
A lot of people don't like Jalen Hurts, and you're one of them. I'm not. I don't know that he can ever get him above 7 or 8 or 9 wins. I think last year was kind of a fluke for him. They have added some pieces around him. This is the year for him. I think it's make or break for him. If he plays well and he shows improvement, I think they'll settle on him for the future. If he doesn't, then they're going to go a different route. The schedule's doable. 9.5, I don't think so. I'm going under.
Yeah, I went under for the Eagles as well. I think they can get up to that 9-win total again, but getting above what they did last year with a tougher schedule, I don't think it's going to happen. So I went under as well. We've talked a lot on Dudes Who Bet Daily. None of us on that show the last 2 days have liked the Steelers at all. They're at 7.5. I think I know the answer, but go ahead. Over under 7.5 for the Steelers.
Well, I'll say right now, if they go over that, Mike Tomlin should be coach of the year.
Agree.
I don't see any way. Now, I know you've got to take into account the organization. It is classy. They are the Steelers, but they don't have a quarterback. And I don't care who you are in the NFL. If you're shaky at quarterback, you're going to struggle to win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going under. I will be shocked if they win more than that.
Yeah, I'm going under as well. I just don't see it out of the 3 guys they've got at quarterback. I just don't see it at all. So I went under on that one as well. All right, San Francisco, how much better will they be this year? That's the question. They won 10 a year ago. Now they're at 9.5. This is a team that gave the Super Bowl champs all they wanted. 9.5. There's some questions at quarterback for sure. What do you think of the 49ers?
I think they may be the best coached. What do you think? I just think their coaching staff is really good.
I think it's good.
Yeah, and they get a lot out of what they've got.
Yeah.
And they got players. the issue is, will they stay with Garoppolo? Or are they going to go with Trey Lance?
Yeah.
We don't know. And with Garoppolo, I think what they're trying to decide, okay, he's going to get us 9-10 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But can he get us over the hump? And is this other kid good enough to get us over the hump? But I think it's pretty obvious they don't think Garoppolo can get them to the Super Bowl.
No.
Although he got close to getting them to the Super Bowl. They are a gutty team. Deebo Samuel is really good. Kittle at tight end, fantastic. Elijah Mitchell, great running back. They had the third best defense in the NFL last year. What is there not to like? It's just the quarterback is an iffy situation. I think they stick with Garoppolo. I think they will. What is it, 9.5? I'm going over.
I went over with them as well. I'm pretty excited to see what they do. I really liked them other than the quarterback. I really liked the 49ers last year. Yep. They've got good players, man. They really do.
If I recall, they started off like 3-6, didn't they? 3-5. Yep. Man, they came on.
Yep. And I think, you look at it this year, you go to Chicago and then you play the Seahawks at home. So you get off to a good start and win those two. And then obviously it's going to get difficult. You play in that division, you're going to have difficult games a lot of weeks. So, but yeah, I've got them over that 9.5 as well. All right, 4 to go. Seattle's next, 5.5. Last year they won 7. No Russell Wilson. Their quarterback situation looks putrid. What do you think of the Seahawks this year?
I agree totally. Starting Drew Lock. Come on. Woo. Yeah, that's looks like a total rebuild there. Kind of give up on this season. Kind of, get some salary cap maybe for next year. They do have some players, though, that are pretty good throughout the roster. I think they're well coached. I think they're tough. I think they'll play their ass off. I just don't think they're any good. 5.5. God, it's hard for me to pick under that for Seattle. It really is, but I'm going to regret this, but I'm going under.
I am too. I just don't think they're very good. Anybody that's starting Drew Lock, I'm pretty worried about him. And to me, it's well known this guy isn't good, right? So maybe they're just totally just giving up this season.
I think they are. Yeah. They're just going to try to get through this, and I'm a little surprised Pete Carroll didn't retire. I'm a little surprised. So, yeah. I agree.
All right. Tampa Bay is next. Last year they won 13. After the year Tom Brady retires, then he comes back. Now, James has a bold prediction. He says Brady does not return and hurts the Bucs' feelings. That's right. Brady not currently with the team. He's dealing with quote-unquote personal issues. No idea what that's all about. But if he's there, you got to think they're going to be good again. If he's not, you got to think they're probably going to suck. So 11.5. I think it's tenuous. I want to hear your thoughts on Tampa Bay.
Well, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about Brady before, and we say this every freaking year for the last 6 years. When is Father Time going to hit this guy?
I don't know.
And he's coming off statistically the best year of his career. Do you realize he was the offense last year?
Yeah.
At 44 years old,
yep,
he carried that football team and damn near beat the Rams. And a miraculous comeback, if you will remember. And then the defense let down Tampa. So we question him every year. Now, the personal issues, of course, the rumors are swirling around that his wife wants him to retire. At least that's what I'm hearing. And it kind of makes sense that maybe why he retired in the first place. And then he really, because all of us were shocked when he retired.
Mm-hmm.
Because he came off one of the best years ever. And, you're thinking, why would you retire? And then he abruptly came back, which means they talked it out or he just overruled or whatever. And now it's come up again. I don't know what the issue is, but it's kind of a good guess that maybe that's what it is. Got a new coach. How will that be? The weapons are there. And I should know this, but I don't. Did Gronk retire? Or is
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's going to hurt, but he was out a lot last year. Another key is Chris Godwin got hurt, knee injury. How soon is he going to come back?
Yeah.
He's got Mike Evans. His running game's fine. They've tried to improve the offensive line. issues on defense. They gave up 445 pass completions last year. They've revamped their defensive front. They got rid of Dominic Sue and Jean-Pierre Paul, which were aging veterans, but still good. Those guys, somebody's going to have to replace them.
Yeah.
11.5. That means they got to win 12. Their schedule's tough. I think they win the division. I'm going to go under and go with 11.
Yeah, I think 11 is more like it too. I'm going to go under on Tampa Bay. I don't think they get there. And listen, again, it's more of just I don't know that he's going to be healthy this whole time. And it is weird that he retired and then he came back and now he's missing. And I don't know what's happening with him. And I don't want to speculate, but it's just odd. There's something odd about it. So I'm a little worried about the Buccaneers this year.
And it's totally not like him.
No.
This guy is, I don't care what people say about him. And he is controversial, I guess. I really don't know why. I mean, I think everybody didn't like him because they win all the time.
Right.
But he is as good a teammate as there ever was.
Yeah.
And all he does is work his ass. You're 45 years old and you're playing quarterback at that level in the NFL. Give me a break. This man is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's insane. It's definitely insane. So we shall see. We'll see what happens there. I'm skeptical that he can keep it healthy the whole year. We'll see though. All right, two to go. Tennessee Titans 9.5 this year, so they're projecting them to kind of go down after winning 12 a year ago. What do you think of the Titans?
Well, everybody's down on them in our neck of the woods here on our shows and everything.
Alex definitely hates the Titans this year. Yeah,
I don't know what's different about the Titans and what's ever been different about the Titans. They got the same players, got the same coaches. They figure out how to win.
Yeah.
I think their coaching staff is vastly underrated. Now, he does make sense in the fact that Derrick Henry's starting to wear down. And I go along with that. But they know how to win until somebody beats them in the division. You know, Indy hasn't been able to do that.
Yeah.
So their schedule is tougher. Tannehill is aging. He's not real good. 9.5. I think they win 10. I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I think they're right on that 9 or 10 line. I'm going to go over too. I trust the coaching staff, and that's a big thing in the NFL. A lot of these teams in this 8, 9, 10, even 7 win, range, coaching staff makes a big difference.
Yeah.
A lot of these teams are very similar talent-wise. So I'll go over just a smidge, though. I do think they're not going to be quite as good as they were a year ago.
Yeah.
So.
Indy could win the division.
They could, because that's the deal. It's going to be between them and Indianapolis. And
wins those games.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. All right, final one, the Washington Commanders. Last season, they won 7. This year, 7.5 is the number. Carson Wentz at quarterback now for the Commanders. I don't like this team at all. I'm going way under that total. What about you?
Yeah, I can make this real quick. One other thing about Tennessee. I bet you if you ask most football teams, who do you hate to play the least, or who do you hate to play the most?
Yeah.
They're going to say Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Of them will mention them. They'll be in the top 3 or 4 because they're physical and they knock your ass off, and teams don't like to play against that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Washington under, way down.
Yeah, I thought this was a weird number at 7.5. Maybe somebody knows something I don't, but I don't like this team very well at all. So
no,
I'm going under. All right, we did it. That's it. That's the list. And so that is our NFL preview here. We went through all. We did the over-unders. The good news is the preview is over. The season starts for college next week. So that's
we're going to come out with our top 25 next week.
What's that?
We're going to have to come out with our top 25 next week.
Yeah, we will do the top 25 because we kind of transition back to college. We'll have the top 25 next week for sure. And we will also talk about some of the games because, like I said, week 0 is what they call it. And it is coming up next week. And as a tradition, Nebraska was the first game last year. And we talked about it. They will be not the very first game, but one of the first games this year. They go to play Northwestern. That's one of the highlight games. I'm scrolling down here. There's not a lot of good teams. Wyoming and Illinois might be an interesting game. Not much, but it seems like there's, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's like 12 games next week. So it's hard to believe, right?
Oh, it is. Isn't Oklahoma State the first game?
Oklahoma State plays Thursday, September 1st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first game is Nevada and New Mexico State.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll laugh her.
Yeah. You're probably thinking Oklahoma State's the first game in the Big 12.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah. So a lot of games. Nebraska 12.5-point favorite against Northwestern, by the way. So we'll break down that one next week. Yeah, we'll do our top 25 as well.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so. I don't have anything to do tonight. I've already got my best bet. It's just going to be kind of relax and enjoy the evening. I don't have to sweat out. You don't either.
Nope.
We went 2-1, so we're 4-2 for the week.
Yep.
Magic will probably be back because the CFL probably plays tomorrow night. So there we go. So
yeah, we get Magic back tomorrow, I'd say. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time for sure. Yeah. It's a good thing you didn't have much left because we could get out of here. Magic Mike Show. Hey, if you don't have anything to do, like Papa Dude does not, the Magic Mike Show is coming on in 12 minutes.
Whoa, we got to get out of here then.
Yes, and they will talk about a very important subjects like is a hamburger a sandwich or not.
No, that's a good one though. I do like that. We need to get up one of ours for. Well, I'll come up with something.
The HR department is investigating the Magic Mike Show over making fun of a subscriber. Dr. Tang is not happy. He has informed me of the complaint, and the HR department is
not happy.
Dr. Tang, he's not happy
because of the hamburger thing.
Yes, and they insulted him. They insulted him on the show. So.
Oh, okay. We got to watch those things.
So we will see if Dr. Tang gets his wish and Magic is fired. So I may announce that live on the show. By the way, it's the 400th Magic Mike Show. So how cool would it be if I fired Magic during the 400th Magic Mike Show?
I hope Dr. Tang is not really wanting that because it ain't going to happen.
No, this is true. No, Dr. Tang Magic is not going to get fired. There's a spoiler for you. But tune in 11 minutes and find out for sure if that's the case. So, all right, guys, we're getting out of here for this one. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll be back next week. They're going to be actually playing football games next week. So we will see you then.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels, never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes first.
If you do not agree with this, you're cursed.